En wij volgen jou. Jij volgt? Ik volg jij.
Jij volgt mij.
Jij.
Ach, rot op. Vriendschapsverzoeken, laat even zien.
Berichten online.
Ach, je lult. Jaloers, ik heb jou geen enkel bericht gestuurd, sowieso niet. Je weet zelf wat je doet.
Moet je kind weer van je afgepakt worden of zo, of niet?
Hoezo mijn kind van me afgepakt worden?
Moet je kind weer van je afgepakt worden?
Doe dan. Doe dan, wat wil je doen?
Je bewijst dat
wat
jij
wil je doen? Ja, laat maar zien bewijs. Laat maar zien.
Moet je naar de politie gaan?
Ga dan.
Wat heb jij al aangifte tegen dat?
Wat is er? Wat is er?
Nee,
wat is er?
Greetings, citizens of the world. We are anonymous. What you are about to hear, you may not be prepared for. The concept alone is quite frightening and you may be inclined to deny everything in this video. That is perfectly fine. However, being willingly uninformed during these times is unadvisable. I relay this message to you today, dear citizen, because we have entered a new era. Only through technology have we been brought here. This era is one where the citizen loses their right to privacy. This loss of one's right to privacy goes deeper than one's internet history, or private files on one's computer, etc. This loss of one's right to privacy is in the domain of biotechnology, rather than just technology. Today, technology that can remotely read one's thoughts exists. The technology is called remote neural monitoring. Remote neural monitoring is claimed by some sources to have been developed for the intelligence community to revolutionize crime detection and prevention, but much of the time innocent individuals and even whistleblowers are targeted. Organizations with this technology can see a target's thoughts, hear their inner dialogue, and respond accordingly, usually through torturous means, all in real time. There are many communities across the internet containing thousands of targeted individuals who tell their stories. Targeted individuals are sometimes activists, researchers, and whistleblowers, but are usually normal people. All report having their lives ruined by remote neural monitoring campaigns in various ways. This is the intended goal of the organizations that run remote neural monitoring campaigns. These organizations include the intelligence and military communities but also likely wealthy organized crime syndicates, which are sometimes disguised as legitimate organizations. While what I have laid out for you here may seem bleak, there is a solution. Harris Corporation produces the technology for these organizations and it is top secret information, though that won't be the case for long. There is an anonymous movement that has been started with the goal to make the use of this technology outside of government organizations illegal. In order to do this, we need to make the information on how to build this technology completely public domain. The movement is called ORNM, or Open Remote Neural Monitoring. We are building the equipment and software needed to not only monitor, but detect and provide countermeasures for monitoring attempts. All of the information is public domain at ornm.org, and the knowledge base is growing. One day this technology will be in the right hands and will be used with discretion. Remote neural monitoring is a nuclear weapon in the domain of psychological warfare. And we are the peacekeepers. True justice will soon be served. We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us. Greetings world. The National Security Agency has developed a new type of technology capable of reading a person's mind and implanting artificial thoughts. The technology is called Remote Neural Monitoring, RNM, and has been developed under the guise of detecting and investigating crimes before they happen. RNM works remotely to control the brain in order to read and detect any criminal thought taking place inside the mind of a possible perpetrator. Research studies have shown that the human brain thinks at a rate of about 5,000 bits per second and does not have the capacity to compete with supercomputers performing via satellites, implants and biotelemetry. The human brain has a distinctive set of bioelectric resonance system. For the RNM system, supercomputers are being used and, thus, with its help, supercomputers can send messages through an implanted person's nervous system in order to influence their performance in a desired way. RNM has been developed after about 50 years of neuroelectromagnetic involuntary human experimentations. According to many scientists, within a few years it is expected that DNA microchips will be implanted in the human brain which would make it inherently controllable. With RNM, it will be possible to read and control a person's emotional thought processes along with the subconscious and dreams. At present, around the world, supercomputers are monitoring millions of people simultaneously with a speed of 20 billion bits per second, especially in countries like USA, Japan, Israel and many European countries. RNM has a set of certain programs functioning at different levels, like the Signals Intelligence System, which uses electromagnetic frequencies, EMF, to stimulate the brain for RNM, and the Electronic Brain Link, EBL. The EMF brain stimulation system has been designed as radiation intelligence, which means receiving information from inadvertently originated electromagnetic waves in the environment. However, it is not related to radioactivity or nuclear detonation. The recording machines in the Signals Intelligence System have electronic equipment that investigate electrical activity in humans from a distance. This computer-generated brain mapping can constantly monitor all electrical activities in the brain. The recording aid system decodes individual brain maps for security purposes. What does it do? For purposes of electronic evaluation, electrical activity in the speech center of the brain can be translated into the subject's verbal thoughts. RNM can send encoded signals to the auditory cortex of the brain directly bypassing the ear. This encoding helps in detecting audio communication. It can also perform electrical mapping of the brain's activity from the visual center of the brain, which it does by bypassing the eyes and optic nerves, thus projecting images from the subject's brain onto a video monitor. With this visual and audio memory, both can be visualized and analyzed. This system can, remotely and non-invasively, detect information by digitally decoding the evoked potentials in 30 to 50 Hz, 5 mW electromagnetic emissions from the brain. The nerves produce a shifting electrical pattern with a shifting magnetic flux, which then puts on a constant amount of electromagnetic waves. There are spikes and patterns which are called evoked potentials in the electromagnetic emission from the brain. The interesting part about this is that the entire exercise is carried out without any physical contact with the subject. The EMF emissions from the brain can be decoded into current thoughts, images and sounds in the subject's brain. It sends complicated codes and electromagnetic pulse signals to activate evoked potentials inside the brain, thus generating sounds and visual images in the neural circuits. With its speech, auditory and visual communication systems, RNM allows for a complete audio-visual brain-to-brain link or a brain-to-computer link. Of course, the mechanism needs to decode the resonance frequency of each specific site to modulate the insertion of information in that specific location of the brain. RNM can also detect hearing via electromagnetic microwaves, and it also features the transmission of specific commands into the subconscious, producing visual disturbances, visual hallucinations and injection of words and numbers into the brain through electromagnetic radiation waves. Also, it manipulates emotions and thoughts and reads thoughts remotely, causes pain to any nerve of the body, allows for remote manipulation of behavior, controls sleep patterns through which control over communication is made easy. This can be used for crime investigation and security management. Concerns. With all the given benefits of RNM for tracking the illicit and treacherous activities, there are many concerns and risks being pointed out by human rights activists and other scientists. The agencies of human rights around the world have criticized RNM as a violation of basic human rights because it violates privacy and the dignity of thoughts and activities of life. Several countries have protested against it and refer to it as an attack on their human and civil rights. The scientists protesting against the use of RNM believe that people who have been implanted involuntarily become biological robots and guinea pigs for RNM activities in the guise of security. This is an important biological concern related to microchip implantation, which is a hidden technology using microwave radiations for the control of the mind. Scientists believe that like leukemia and the cancerous risks posed by mobile phones which also emit microwaves, RNM can also pose similar threats to a subject's overall health, as the heating effect of tissues with the speed of light is a known effect of high-powered microwave and electromagnetic pulse weapons. Thus, RNM remains a controversial technology which is being used in many countries for security maintenance and surveillance.
Hello. And thank you for watching videos on this channel. Today's video is the 10th production about busting narcissists, and it's about malignant narcissism and gang stalking, their efforts to drive you insane. Are you being gang stalked by narcissists? Narcissists will lie to some people you know, like your neighbors, and people in your social and professional circles. However, most likely, they will lie to people you don't know, like unknown people in your community, legal authorities, and financial institutions with the sole purpose to hurt you and drive you insane. When they accomplish that, you'll probably display the expected behaviors narcissists want from you, using people you don't know. In summary, narcissists will use gang stalking to accomplish their objective to manipulate you to become paranoid and suspicious of people around you. Over a period of time, narcissists' use gang stalking has produced some commonalities among those victimized. The victim is likely seen as a threat to them. The victim likely does not know the perpetrators of the gang stalking. Those involved in the gang stalking do not know the victim. Those involved in the gang stalking do not necessarily know why they are gang stalking a victim. The stalking is subtle but targeted and can be seen as inconsequential or everyday, such as drive-by honking of horns, drive-by yelling of obscenities, hand gestures generally considered to be hostile in nature, vehicles stopping and standing on the street in front of the victim's home, trash strewn on the victim's lawn, driveway and property in such manner as to make it obvious that it was a deliberate act, shining lights in the windows of the victim's home, an increase in noise in the area of the victim's home, tailgating the target then dropping back repeatedly, sending the target messages that lead the victims know they are being watched, such as the names of pets, the names of children, stores visited frequently, schools the children attend, day in and day out hang-up calls or wrong number calls, vandalism to the home or property of the victim, graffiti in proximity to the victim's home. The gang stalking takes place over a period of time or a number of years. The faces of those involved in gang stalking change frequently, but the perpetrators often remain constant. The intent of gang stalking is to render the victim psychologically demoralized even to the point of committing suicide, make the victim appear, to the larger community, to be mentally unstable for the purposes of discrediting and psychologically demoralizing the victim, ensuring no one will believe the victim when they claim they are being targeted, alienate and marginalize the victim from the larger community, even family, making it easier to psychologically demoralize and discredit the victim. Anyone who believes they are being gang stalked by malignant narcissists should 1. Keep detailed records and documentation of times, dates, and details, making those records as soon as the incident is apparent so details are not lost over time. 2. Record any evidence left by the perpetrators, making sure to include a point of reference in the picture or video for identification purposes. For instance, if trash is strewn on the lawn, take close-ups but then take pictures showing the house, garage, or even a car in the picture as a point of reference that the garbage was actually where you claim it was. 3. Keep detailed records of any interaction with law enforcement, even when law enforcement are friendly and appear to be empathetic. Keep track of who the responding officer is, what department he works for, what he tells you, what he does, if he removes evidence from the scene. Note how he handles it, what he does with it. Know the procedures for preserving evidence and observe if the officer follows those procedures. Write it all down so details aren't lost over time. Ask for an event number and incident number. 4. If you believe you are being gang stalked, get a psychological evaluation immediately. This establishes that you are mentally stable when those involved in law enforcement try to intone that you are somehow mentally deranged. Remember what I've already mentioned about misdiagnosis of complex post-traumatic stress disorder. 5. If you believe you are being gang stalked, don't be afraid to speak up. Narcissists will try to create fear-mongering in your life. For instance, on internet, trolls using ghost accounts to leave pathetic comments and insults, hacking your email accounts, tampering with your landline and cellular phones, and Wi-Fi networks and so on. There was a time when victims being stalked were not listened to, were considered to be off and ahead. Now stalking someone is a crime. The more who speak up, the more we unveil the truth about malignant narcissists and bust them, the better chance there's that gang stalking will not continue to operate with society's compliance. Remember, malignant narcissists want to drive you with insanity-like behaviors to demoralize you and invalidate you in society. Therefore, because they cannot no longer control you and use you to their demonic needs, they will then try to destroy you. To do so, they need to neutralize your credibility so that your power to unveil the truth and bust narcissists to oblivion. Thus, this is how gang stalking is used by narcissists. Finally, remember that logic and metacognition are your best tools to empower your mind to free from narcissists for good and have them exposed and busted. Thank you for watching this video and I wish you all peace.
System of gang stalking and how it actually works. The intent is just to kill a victim. Leave no evidence behind, because otherwise everybody's going to be getting caught, and make it seem like it's the victim's fault, like the person was really just bound to die, but at the same time lie to society and spread a lot of rumors and a lot of negative stuff about the victim, and the goal really is to just make lots of money without leaving any kind of trace behind. It's a slow kill system. Again, ties in with the fact that you don't want to be leaving clues and traces behind, and destroy everything that makes the victim or a normal person to be alive, like a job, relationship, health, and everything else. If you can just bombard a person with negative events throughout the day, 24 hours a day, that person is just bound to die. Gang stalking is actually a very systematic and a clever system. There's a lot of history as to how long it existed and how it's been refined, so it's not something which is new. It's been around for a long time. It destroys the career and finances. No money. It's going to be difficult for anybody without any cash. There's not going to be any, if you get sick, you're not going to be able to afford hospital fees. You're not going to be able to feed yourself. No proper nutrition. All relationships are destroyed. Everything. All relationships from even when the person was young, from high school, from all areas of life, all of them, every single relationship, they go to the person and then spread lies and sabotage that relationship. Personal health is also destroyed, creating diseases such as cancer and destroying vital organs, the heart, the kidney, and just making sure that you actually die. I mean, a person could still be mentally and spiritually strong and manage to survive. So the perpetrators or the guys who are attacking make sure that even the spiritual activities that are destroyed, prayer, meditation, and everything else. Mentally, you're being driven to be insane. System is actually made out of two parts. One of them is gang stalking, and the other one is electronic harassment. Gang stalking is more of the social side of these kind of attacks. So effectively turn the whole of society against the victim. Make sure that whenever the guy applies for a job, he can't find a job. Make sure that everywhere the person goes, he's got a bad name and nobody actually wants him. Drive the victim to complete isolation, and it's actually very difficult in today's world to live in complete isolation. No friends, no job, nothing, no life. And then there's also constant harassment, where everybody else seems to be in on attacking the victim, neighbors, friends, family. And then when it comes to electronic harassment, it's a case of 24-hour surveillance. The victim has got no privacy, so anything that he does, the guys who are attacking him already know in advance. There might be bugs placed in the house. There might be hidden videos, or the cars might actually also be bugged. So everything that the guy does, all the phone calls, everything that the person is doing, the perpetrators know exactly what he's doing and what he's saying and who he's communicating with. Electronic harassment also is about inducing pain. So it's actually also a weapon where the victim is being attacked from a distance. Health and well-being is also going to suffer as a result. So ultimately, the aim is to make money, but if you made money in a simple way, it's going to be a scheme or a pyramid scheme or whatever, and people are going to catch on to it very quickly, and it's probably not going to last long. By using this gang stalking system, it's actually, it can run on for a while without ever getting caught. So first step is to find a victim. It could be anybody. It doesn't actually matter. The perpetrators actually do spend a lot of time planning their attacks, so that sort of there's personalized for the victim. Then it's a case of physical attacks, making sure that the guy doesn't have any kind of privacy and he's eventually falls sick. Destroy his public image, so that wherever the guy turns to, if it's a case of having a job, whatever. So everything that makes the victim to be sort of a human being is destroyed. And while it's doing all of this, make sure that the evidence is hidden, and profit Doesn't have to be on death. It could be, as the victim is alive as well. So because the perpetrators or whoever the network or whoever the guys that are running the systems are going to be making lots of millions, they can afford advanced technology for spying, for sort of attacking as weapons, whatever. And also the system employs a lot of people 24 hours a day, so there's a whole army of people just per victim. It's probably about 10 to 20 people, perpetrators per victim. And also they go around paying normal members of society, maybe neighbors and friends, to sort of bribe them, and like it might also be a person's family doctor is also bribed in some cases. It's very expensive to run, so but the incentive is there. At the end of the day, they're making lots of millions, so they can sort of more or less afford to run this sort of system. And there are just too many pieces to work out. Ultimately it's a crime, but because there's so many pieces to work out, it's actually very difficult to explain to anybody, or it's very, even for the victims, it's very difficult for them to work it out. So the full picture actually looks something like this, where the first step is to find a victim. The perpetrators actually don't make it clear to the victim that they're spying on him, so they pretty much spend a couple of months or even years stalking the guy, collecting a lot of information. So they study the guy's routines, they get a list of all his friends and relationships, so they can start turning those friends against the guy. They've done all of this by invading the person's privacy. And then comes a point where they actually start physically attacking the victim by doing a lot of stuff. Eventually it's a case of the victim becoming depressed, or maybe even becoming a little bit insane. Public image is destroyed. There's a lot of lies being spread. It's going to be difficult for the victim to find a job, and evidence is usually hidden by, saying that the victim is a mental retard or has got a serious mental problem. And unfortunately, there's no means for the victim to fight back. And profit is sometimes made from insurance fraud. You can sign up somebody for insurance without them knowing. They'll live for a couple of years, that insurance builds up, the premiums build up, and then you kill the person, you go and collect the insurance. Or it could be for testing out the weapons. I mean, there's a lot of technology involved, so another reason could be to just find a lot of unsuspecting victims and actually carry out a lot of tests, or for medical experiments. Ultimately it is a crime. It boils down to attacking a victim with no chance of him defending himself, and you're doing all of this from a distance, and it's very unethical. There's no morals. There's a lot of everything ugly that you can think of, a lot of lying, a lot of manipulation, a lot of ugly stuff. It's a violation of human rights. I mean, you just invading somebody's privacy is already a massive violation of human rights. Killing somebody from a distance, signing up somebody for a medical experiment without being accountable for their death, that's already a violation of their rights. And a lot of this works because a lot of lies are being spread around. Just lie to as many people as they need to, but ultimately it's killing. You're killing a human being, but it's very, very, very expensive. It's a weapon, just like any other weapon, just like a gun, just like a knife. Taking a knife is stabbing somebody. It just happens to be a very expensive weapon, and it is a crime, unfortunately.
Okay. So, I understand that you're going to be doing some training, right?
And what's your name?
Anna.
Anna from where?
From around here.
From around here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have like an official academy with a supervisor and things like that?
Those are the kind of questions you need to ask Mark when he comes home. And you obviously know he's not here.
Okay, I got that. I just wanted to get some information from you.
Okay, well, I'm not the one to get the information from.
Okay. Do you have some objection to talking to me?
No, not at all.
All right. So I'm interested in how how you're going to be trained. Like if, maybe you've been in a Scientology organization. I don't know.
Nope.
Never.
Nope.
Okay.
And I'm sure you know that, but okay, whatever.
Okay. Well, are you familiar with what a standard academy is like?
Okay, we're not having this discussion. If you want to come back when he's home, which will probably be tomorrow evening, I'm sure he'll discuss it with you.
Okay. Do you mind answering?
Yeah, I do.
I got it.
Because I don't even know who you are.
Well, I can understand that.
Okay.
Well, just from the viewpoint of if I were going to go pick a doctor to operate on me, say if I needed something like that, if the doctor were not officially or properly trained, I would be a little bit trepidatious about going under the knife with that doctor, if you can get the analogy there. So there's a standard way to do things in any profession. And, standard would be, with a course room, with a check sheet, with a trained supervisor, auditing done under case supervision, with meters that have been certified.
Why does the church even care what I'm doing? Really?
Well, they care because there's a standard way to do things. And when it's not done standardly, the results aren't the same.
So is it standard to have PIs chasing him all over LA right now? That's standard?
I don't have any data on that myself at all.
That's the problem, is they don't give you all the data.
Okay, I got it. I don't know anything about that. I know I personally would be concerned if things weren't up to snuff. You know what I'm saying?
You have right to be concerned.
So just for your sake as well, if you're going to be the one that's going to be auditing or delivering, you should want to have the best that you can have so that you're confident.
And that's from your church?
Well, that's from me. I mean, if you were going to go put yourself in someone's hands, you wouldn't be in the best hands that you possibly
And the church is the best hands?
Is
that what you're telling me? And they're chasing my husband all over LA right now. But that's the best hands.
Okay, like I said, I don't have any data on that.
Oh, well, go look on the computer. It's up there. He's got video up there already. All day yesterday, chasing him down.
I got it.
That's the best hands?
Well, the materials have a trademark that protects them and copyrights that protect them. If those trademarks and copyrights are being violated, then,
Whatever. Really? I can't even believe it.
So it's not real to you that there's a proper way to do things and maybe an improper way to do them?
What's real to me is that you people and your church need to stop coming to my house. That's what's really real to me.
Okay, I understand that.
Stop going to my job. Stop going to my friends. That's really real.
I don't even know any of your friends or even where you work.
Okay. Well, again, you don't have all the data. They give you a little mission to do and don't give you all the background.
Okay. I do have concern for what results that you may bring about by getting improperly trained or using an improper meter. And I just want to make sure...
That is of none of your concern. None. Because like you said, if somebody's going to go to someone, they're going to check them out, right? That's whoever comes and wants to be audited. That's their choice to do that.
Absolutely.
Not your concern.
Well, it's my, it is my concern if I know that someone's not going to get the best. I mean, you're familiar with the dynamics, right? Are you familiar with the dynamics?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Well, people are part of the dynamics, other people, and if you knew that they were going to be in the wrong hands, you certainly would want to...
Whatever. Your church is lying to you, is basically what's happening. And it's unfortunate you don't see that.
Okay.
It's unfortunate you don't see that.
Well, how do you know that, except that you get that from Marty? How do you know that? I mean,
yeah,
do you
okay.
have
And
firsthand
all the
reality
hundreds
on that?
other people who have been here, okay? Really? Everybody's lying. Everybody but the church.
That's a generality.
Every single, that's not a generality.
Well, who
every
is
single
everybody?
person.
Who
Oh,
is-
every person you guys have already put up on your little stupid blog. Okay, I'm not playing that game with you guys. Really?
All right, the only concern is that standard tech be delivered standardly.
You've been lied to.
Okay.
You've been lied to.
Okay. Do you have a concern about that? That you
You've been
deliver
lied to.
standard tech? I got what you're saying. I got what you're saying.
Okay, then you can go then. You've got my message.
All right.
Because you've been lied to.
Okay. Now.
No, there is no more now. You can leave now.
Okay, is it real that possibly
Okay, I'm going to say it one more time. You are on my property. You can leave now. Goodbye.
All right.
Okay, then I'll call the cops.
Okay. Thank you for your time.